absolute pleasure to introduce our platinum sponsor for this afternoon. So Schneider Electric have kindly sponsored this session, and I will be presenting our sponsor presenter. So Lisa Zembrodt is a principal and senior director at Schneider's electric sustainability business, which manages 30 billion euros in annual energy spend and has advised on 16 gigawatts of power purchase agreements globally since 2018. Her teams have helped organisations and governments craft and implement holistic energy and renewable strategies, enabling emissions reductions and optimising financial outcomes. Lisa has supported some of Australia's largest energy users through transformations of their energy and renewable strategies and advocates for policy that enables the net zero economy transformation with equitability for users and communities. Lisa is a certified energy risk professional, treasurer and non-executive director of the Energy Users Association of Australia and holds a sustainability and climate risk certificate from the Global Association of Risk Professionals. So we've got a short presentation now from Schneider.
So as the lovely introducer said, my name is Lisa Zembrodt. I am here presenting on behalf of Schneider Electric. But I didn't put my name on the screen because there are 140,000 employees of Schneider Electric, and we are all contributing to the sustainability of our company and that of our customers as well. So I'm just here to represent and speak on behalf of all of us who are working very hard in this space. I did want to mention that Schneider Electric's purpose as an organization is all about sustainability. It's really an important thing that we view and have viewed for quite some time. We're not new to the sustainability space. It's something we've been focusing on for a couple of decades now. But we are very excited to be sponsoring this event, and certainly I'm very excited to be speaking this particular section, the sustainability in practice. So many of the speakers already today have shared examples of the work that they've done, and I'll be continuing on that theme as well, with an aim really to show a bit of what can be done so that you can take that away with you today. Like some others have mentioned, we are committed as well to the UN SDGs, and you can see here how our targets are aligned with achieving the SDGs. And so while I will talk mostly from here about decarbonization in particular, or emission reductions in general, we are, of course, tackling issues for ourselves and our customers across all of these important topics, and not just environmental or emissions. And we do have very ambitious aims. A lot of the work that my teams focus on is focused on this item here on the right-hand side in green, which is reducing the emissions of our customers. So we have an aim to reduce emissions 800 million tonnes by 2025, so that's double the annual emissions of all of Australia, and we will meet that ambitious aim. The slide I've got up now is just a slide to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have achieved so far, and this is the last slide I will share that's about Schneider Electric, but it was really important to share that we are walking the talk, and as I mentioned before, we're not new to sustainability as a topic. We've been recognized for our efforts over the last couple decades to reduce our impact on the environment and to contribute to sustainable development globally. But we're also recognized for the work that we do to help our customers do the same. So as a point of reference, as it mentioned in the intro, we are a very large company, 35 billion euro. We have 140,000 employees. So it's a very complex business. We've got manufacturing, we've got technology and software, we've got services. So really to be recognized the way that we have is truly a testament to the dedication of all of our employees and our customers as well, really putting sustainability at the core of what we do. So what we're seeing here, an earlier speaker had said to keep it simple, Sally, I think was the phrasing. And I would completely agree. So we frame the decarbonization journey quite simply as strategize, digitize, decarbonize. And we find that companies who are really leading in this space are doing something quite like this. And this is really the framework that we approach our own sustainability journey and also that of our clients as well. And I would note that it's really important to keep it simple because, as we talked about in the last section, there's a lot to do, and it's really easy to get lost in where to start and what to do. First up, all the way on the left-hand side, one of the first things that you need to do, of course, is get a handle on your emissions. And this can be pretty tricky, particularly in scope 3. But there are absolutely ways that we can do this now. It's not nearly quite as tricky as it was about 10 years ago. But that's really a critical first step, is getting an understanding of where you sit in terms of emissions. And then determine your commitments. Determine what they'll be and how you will get there. And this is the stage at which you also need to get stakeholder buy-in and funding, right? So as we sort of touched on in the last section, no program gets anywhere without funding. So this is the point at which engaging with those stakeholders is really critical to ensure that the strategy has buy-in and that it has funding against it. This next column, digitize. So this is all about setting up everything to make sure you're actually able to monitor and measure the progress as across full ESG, not just emissions. But that's really critical, because people are going to ask you, what did you achieve? And unless you've got it at the tip of your finger, it's going to be really difficult for you to demonstrate the progress that you've made in a way that people trust. And finally, decarbonizing. So certainly there's a number of different pathways to be taken, but the most common and quite comprehensive are electrify everything that you can possibly electrify in the hospitals and the healthcare settings to reduce. So we want to be as efficient as possible in the way that we're using energy resources, replacing your electricity consumption with renewable electricity, and then engaging with your value chain. Now, I've purposely not mentioned balance in that step, because it is the last thing that you want to do. You want to do as much as you possibly can in absolute emissions before you think about balancing with any offsets. And I think it's really important to note that with today's technology, we can eliminate 70% of the world's emissions. So we don't need to wait, for example, for hydrogen to try to stay under our carbon budget, right? In fact, we really can. We really should be looking to implement these pathways as quickly as possible, understanding that it is a bit of a sequential journey. You do need to understand what your emissions look like. You need to set a strategy and have it funded, and then start to take action. So 2 quick case studies now. Very quickly, the first here is West Gippsland Hospital Group. So this was built in 1908, and it was part of Tranche 1 of the Greener Government Buildings Program, which started in 2013. So we were successful in implementing what's called an energy performance contract at the hospital, and we had 25 different energy conservation measures implemented in that first phase, with replacement of almost 6 million in aging and inefficient assets across 4 sites. There was also an extensive steam system throughout the hospital, and it was supplied by 2 very old, very inefficient steam boilers that we weren't able to replace in the original energy performance contract. But given the success of that first program, we commissioned a master plan to decommission the steam system, and then we worked with the Department of Health to present a viable business case to do just that. So we started phase 2 of the energy performance contract with the Department of Treasury and Finance, and we did an additional 9 different energy conservation measures, replacing another 3 million in aging and inefficient assets. So we completed the second phase in December of 2022. So while it's not fully ready for all entire understanding of how well it's done across an entire year just yet, to date, from the start, when we began this program back in 2015, 2016, West Gippsland Hospital Group or Healthcare Group, the results are 34% reduction in electricity usage, 17% reduction in natural gas usage, and a 16% reduction in water usage. So these things do take many years. They take a lot of time. So absolutely worth revisiting now, even if you have a program, and we're starting now as well if you don't. The last thing I wanted to leave you with today is something around scope 3. So again, scope 3 can be really quite tricky to tackle in terms of emissions reductions. But we do run multiple programs globally to do just that. The one I'm sharing here on the screen is the one that we're running for the global pharmaceutical industry. So it's called Energize. You may have heard of it. We've got 20 of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies as sponsors and over 500 of their suppliers. Many of them are shared suppliers, of course, participate in the program, which is funded by those suppliers. So it's all about education, engagement, helping to set targets, helping the suppliers to achieve those targets, and then tracking the progress. So I'll leave you with one last thought or conclusion, I suppose, that look, there's a lot to do. There's a massive urgency to take action, which you've heard a little bit about throughout the day so far. Certainly, we can help, which is core to our organization. So please seek out Lee Bayless there in the room or seek me out online. So thanks for your time today and allowing us to sponsor this.